Hello everyone, my name is Orlando. Welcome to my channel. Today is your second stimulus check update for July 26, 2020. So we've got some good news and we got some bad news. So the good news is that we're still getting our $1,200 stimulus check. Everything will be exactly the same based on this bill that it was in the CARES Act. So it's going to be based off of a $1,200 check that will be based off of your adjusted gross income. The max you can make is $75,000. It will be $500 per child, and obviously combined that's $150,000 for couples. So that's great. We're still in the clear when it comes to that. That has not really changed. Nothing has changed, and I don't really see that changing. Both sides have really agreed that a second stimulus check is something that will be needed. And to be honest with you, it's the cheaper of the other options based on tax breaks and unemployment and things of that nature. So I don't see that changing. I think that is direct. The thing that we have to get back on track on is what I'm about to talk next, which is the bad news portion. So let's jump right into it. So White House officials and Senate Republicans are finalizing a bill that would offer $1,200 checks to many Americans and that would not renew full unemployment insurance enhancements as part of the proposal for the next stimulus bill, set to be unrevealed on Monday, several top officials said on Sunday. Now, that's what I was talking about earlier. The $1,200 we're going to get, that portion is kind of like, I don't want to say set in stone, but it's agreed upon on both sides of the House and the Senate. President wants to do it. So I don't really see any issues with that. What I see an issue with is the unemployment. The unemployment, which is really, really a big sticking point on both sides. The Republicans are dropping down. They have dropped down the unemployment to $200. $200 per week bonus on top of your regular unemployment. That is a huge shock, right? And it's not so much of a shock because we haven't been talking about it, but to actually see that that's what they're actually going for, it's disappointing, right? So they're dropping down the bonus from the $600 down to the $200. They don't want to budge off of this. They are still harping on this, people, these people are mooching off of the economy. People don't want to go back to work because they're like becoming rich off of unemployment. We need to get the economy back to where it was. And we could only do that if people get back to work. And if we keep giving people free money, they won't go back to work. That's kind of the scenario that the Senate has been pushing on. White House economic advisor Larry Kudlow told CNN Jake Tapper on State of the Union that $1,200 check to Americans will be part of a new recovery package in addition to re-employment bonuses, retention bonuses, and tax credits for small businesses and restaurants. See, they're trying to do this combined effort where they take away the unemployment because they think it's too rich. So what they're going to do is they're adding in this re-employment bonus or get back to work bonus where, hey, instead of just giving you $600 for unemployment a week, if you go back to work, we will go ahead and give you a $400 bonus for getting back to work. And what I feel like is the issue, the disconnect here, is these guys really believe that people don't want to go back to work. They believe that individuals rather stay at home and just collect a check rather than go back to work, get back to their normal. And that is just not the case. The case is this. Most individuals didn't want to go back to work because they were afraid. They were afraid that if I go back to work, and let's just say I work for a restaurant, and I go back to work and I put myself at risk to bring back a virus to my family, to my parents, to just everyday person. Like, I do not want to put myself at risk where I could bring this sickness upon my family. And most people would take the unemployment because they still have bills to pay, but they are afraid to catch the virus. And there is no cure. There is no vaccine. It's just go back to work to do XYZ, whatever it is. Let's say, like I said, I was a server at a restaurant. You go back and you serve people who are asking for hamburgers and steaks, and then you work for X amount of money, but yet you bring a sickness back to your family. Is that worth it? It's not. It's not worth it to anyone. And so what most people have been doing is saying, I'm not willing to risk that. I'm not willing to risk my family for for a job. They're just not willing to do that. And so they haven't. So most people have decided, I'm going to sit on the sidelines and wait to kind of see what happens. And then once this thing gets under control, then I'll go back to work. And so they've been taking advantage of the unemployment benefits to help them in a situation that is needed. It's a situation that no one expected. So let's continue to go on that. So Kudlow also said that the Republicans proposal will lengthen the eviction policy, where they basically stop anybody from landlord from doing an eviction on any tenants. And I understand that. I get that. No big deal. I'm an investor myself. I would not want to evict anyone during this COVID situation. But this is what I don't understand about that. If you're going to extend someone from being evicted because of non-payment, right? Then why would you stop why would you push a person into a corner to make a decision if they're going to choose rent or food, or rent or electric? Why would you push someone in a corner by taking away the unemployment benefit and dropping it down to such a low dollar amount where it really doesn't help anyone, right? And now you're forcing the individual to make a decision, but then you're putting on landlords saying, hey, you can't evict these guys for non-payment, which I understand. But why do that when you see, I don't know if you guys have seen the reports on rent payments and mortgage payments. They're still high. Everybody's still making their payments. I'm not saying individuals aren't having a hard time making payments, but nationwide, the numbers are still really good when it comes to mortgage payments and rent payments. They're still really high. But why is that? It's because of the CARES Act. The CARES Act, the unemployment, the direct payments of the stimulus check have propped up the economy to be able to withstand something like this, and putting money into people's pockets so that the economy can still move, that you can still pay your electric bill, that you can still pay your landlord, that you can still pay your mortgage. Why? Even though that you're unemployed. And that is because of the CARES Act, because of the government helping out its people, right? How will that affect you if you go ahead and you're unemployed, but yet the government is going to say, well, we're going to drop that $600 down to $200. That's $400 difference right there. That could be groceries. That could be your rent in itself. We don't know. We don't know. And then this back to work thing that they're still pushing, trying to say, hey, if you go back to work, then we'll give you additional funds. That works great for individuals who have a job to go back to. But what about individuals who don't have a job to go back to? You're telling them that, hey, we're going to drop down your unemployment, but if you get back to work, you can get that money still. Well, once again, if they could go back to work, they would. And there's multiple circumstances that they can't. The virus, maybe the job isn't just there. Maybe they're furloughed. There's multiple of situations why an individual is unemployed. And if you go and you take a look at the your unemployment website, there is a list of things that they're asking individuals, why are you coming to unemployment? It's about 10 to 12 things. You got COVID yourself. Your family member has gotten COVID. You're the only breadwinner and you need to take care of the kid. I mean, someone has died from COVID. There's so many circumstances of why someone could be unemployed during this pandemic. So go ahead and continue. And it says, I don't know if you saw this report, but there was a report that said that if unemployment was reduced or they got rid of it, that it would add about 3.4 million job losses to the economy, because not a lot of people understand during this pandemic, there were a lot of jobs gained. You needed new people for SBA disaster loans. You needed new people for PPP loans. You needed new individuals for unemployment. You needed new guys to build out the infrastructure. And there were a lot of jobs that were created during this pandemic. And for you to, basically cut all of those jobs off and, just say, hey, look, we don't want people taking advantage of the system. And so we're just going to go ahead and stop it. We're going to get the $1,200, right? They're going to do that. What we're fighting against is this unemployment that's been dropped down to $200. Do I think they're going to raise it up? I don't know, but I do think that the Democrats will fight on this. The House will fight on it because it still has to pass the House. The problem that we're running up against that's going to make this extremely difficult is the time frame we have. I do believe that the Republicans will go to recess without getting this done. I just truly, I don't think that the Democrats will. I think the Democrats are willing to make a deal and kind of get money to people. So once again, guys, if you find valuable information out of this video that I'm providing, please hit that subscribe button, also the like button. Hit that notification button so that when I release videos like this, that you will be notified as soon as possible. And like always, guys, I really appreciate the support and thank you for watching my video and see you on the next one. Thanks.